In 2014, I took a flight from New York to Iceland. From Iceland, I took a smaller plane to the northernmost country of Greenland. I landed on the western part in a small tourist town called Ilulissat. And from there, I took a jumper plane all the way south to a very, very tiny, unheard of place called Ipitok. Now, I had never heard about this place. I did not know much about Greenland prior to coming there. All I knew was Greenland is icy and Iceland is green. But I'm a travel writer by profession, and I was working with the Greenland Tourism Board to write about a new bed and breakfast that had just opened in the southern part of Greenland. Now, coming here had been a story as in itself. I even saw humpback whales on my way there. When I arrived in Ipitok, there was nothing as far as my eyes could see. It was just glaciers and icebergs. There were no people. There was just one lone building. I felt like I was in the middle of nowhere. Have you had that feeling when your phone does not get a signal and you cannot connect to Wi-Fi? It is strange. We are all been there. When I didn't get signal, I felt, oh, I could not stay here for the next couple of days. Imagine living like that for the rest of your life. I actually met people who were doing that. This wasn't even a village at all. It was just a bed and breakfast where 3 people lived. And one of them transformed my life. And I hope they will yours too. On this farm lived a girl, a 7-year-old girl called Ina. She lived there with her parents, 2 dogs, 200 sheep, and a few chickens. She was homeschooled. She was completely disconnected from the world. She had no Wi-Fi, no phone, no Netflix, and with no video games. She had no technology whatsoever. Her nearest neighbor was 40 minutes by boat or helicopter in case of emergencies. I was familiar with that commute already. Yet, Ina was practically my tour guide for the time I was there. We had a lot of fun together, actually. We went chasing her dogs in the field. We looked for northern lights late into the night. We went picking ingredients to eat for lunch. And instead of popsicles, we licked off icebergs for dessert. Now, how many kids do you know of who can have a conversation with a total stranger from another country? When I met Ina, I got my big idea. It is travel, not technology, that will enable our future generations to have the cultural intelligence to maneuver this increasingly diverse and globalized world. What is cultural intelligence? Does anybody know? Cultural intelligence, or cultural quotient, which is also known as CQ, it refers to a person's ability to understand, appreciate, and navigate cultural situations and adapt their behaviors accordingly. Children who have high cultural intelligence are better able to adapt to different environments, to communicate with people from different cultures, and most importantly, respect different values, beliefs, and norms. Now, I am around kids all the time, but I find texting has taken over talking. When my nephews and nieces come over, we barely make eye contact. Parents tell me that their kids don't want to talk about their day after school. And librarians say they cannot get their kids to read much anymore. So is technology really helping or hindering the progress of cultural intelligence? I have a friend who was reading one of my books, Beato Goes to Brazil, to her 7-year-old son. And that's for the first time he realized that the Amazon is an actual rainforest in Brazil and not a source of all the packages that they receive at their doorstep. Sure, we have access to a lot more technology now, but do we have the intelligence to process it? This is why Ina was so inspirational to me. Despite being cut off from technology, living in a remote part of the world, she had the cultural intelligence to have conversations with people like myself. I believe travel, not technology, is going to help enable kids to have the cultural intelligence they need to maneuver this globalized world. When kids travel, they are better able to pick up languages and customs. They are able to communicate with people and understand different cultures. Think about how impressionable travel is at any age. Just the way you never forget how you learned to ride a bike or when you first learned to swim. You never forget the first time you left your hometown, the first foreign cuisine you ate, or the first friend you made from another country. Who here remembers that pen pals? Ina and I had a kindred spirit. I felt that despite being away from technology, she was able to communicate with so many people because she traveled, mainly to Denmark and France, where her parents were from. But she also loved to read. She read about different cultures on her own. She spoke 3 languages. And she welcomed people like myself who came and stayed in her bed and breakfast. Now, I could relate to Ina because when I was growing up in northern part of India, I was also disconnected from technology. I did not have the opportunity to travel much outside my country. But my grandmother and I had enrolled in a travel exchange program, which allowed us to receive visitors from all over the world. So as a young girl, I had people come and stay with us from all around the world where I would have conversations with them and learn about how they lived. I believe that helped me increase my cultural intelligence as a child. So why is it important for us, both adults and children, to develop our cultural intelligence? Cultural intelligence is a critical skill that is needed to work effectively in today's changing world. You may have heard of cultural intelligence in academics, in politics, in research, in corporations. Cultural intelligence is something that is required if you are looking for any kind of job. Whether you're looking to go work in an international business, or join the military, or serve others. Cultural intelligence will teach you cross-cultural communication skills that will enable you to work and communicate better with people across different cultures. Now, we talked about travel as being the most important thing. When you travel, you pick up different languages, cultures, and you respect different beliefs. But are we actually enabling the new generation to work towards a change that is happening in this world. If there's anything that I would like for you to take from tonight, it is realizing the importance of travel for children. Don't dismiss travel as something you would do when kids are older, when they're able to appreciate it better, but think about it as something you want to do to build their cultural intelligence. If your 7-year-old kid has a phone or a computer, they're ready to hop on a flight. So, who here is ready to get on board and go on an adventure? Thank you. Well, I also want to close with, I'm standing here before you and have the courage to speak because of the cultural intelligence I developed through my travels and through the people I met. So I urge you all to step out into the world, escape the virtual reality, and step out into the real world. Thank you.